Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thursday morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch, my friends. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. A little gray morning here, but regardless, my friends, regardless. Drink it if you got it. I'm going to, that's for sure. Okay. And how's everybody this morning? Look at the crowd. Holy cow. Look at the crowd right off the bat. I'm outside. I thought it was going to be too cold, but it's not. But something's missing this morning. The sun, where is, well, I know where it is. It's above the clouds. It's a little gray and overcast. I think that takes some of the goodness out of sitting here with the sun in your face. Actually had to drag out a fill light so I wouldn't look like I was sitting in the dark. But great to be here nonetheless. Great to be here nonetheless. It's a little chilly out here this morning. But we're going to do this. We're going to do this today. Today's going to be a fun day. Tonight we got the private community live stream. Not worried about demonetization or any of that crap. Everybody's going to be in there. We're going to have a panel. No holds barred. No holds barred. Nobody has to worry about being the culprit. And I'm having lunch with my son today. We're going to the barbecue joint and we're going to have lunch, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I always look forward to doing the morning live streams. And I think it'll be a great day. So I hope you all have a great day as well. That's an order. Have a great day. Have a great day. Anybody asks you why you're having a great day, say some old guy commanded it. Oh man, look at everybody here. Look at everybody here. Let me run back in the chat and acknowledge the early birds real quick. We'll try to run through this. First in, 9:08 p.m., mere seconds after I created the live stream last night, was Nikki W. Hi, Nikki, how you doing? Followed shortly thereafter by Smoothie 420 and B81 Mac. B81 Mac. I suppose this Misfits thing has taken hold. I suppose it has, but that's fine. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to, this afternoon, I'm going to be able to take some time and I'm going to go in and create that t-shirt with Tanya's Mitch Fitz skull and bacon crossbones logo on it. And people have said they would really like it. So I hope you do. I'm going to get one for me, and anybody else wants one, be my guest. We'll hopefully be able to show you the design, show you where it is and how to get it tomorrow morning. And if not, it'll be the morning after that. Mike Seeley. Hi, Mike. How you doing? Good to see you. Sandy Blythe, see you in the morning. Retired Rick. Another Rick. Charger Mopar. Feral Grandma. 12:30 in the morning. Carnivore Butcher. Lady June at 1:15. Bob Lockett, 1:22. Here we are in the land of the insomniacs. Holy cow. Tuka. Well, he's not an insomniac. He's in Europe. He's in Finland. Papa Carnivore, 2:50. Holy cow. Peter, get some sleep. Wanda Gerling. Wanda Gerling says hi to everybody. Michael Pregler, Eat Meat and Lift Heavy. Wayne Herman at 6:30 this morning. Granny Boo 2 chimed in. Cliff Medina chimed in. The Feral Grandma chimed in. And Gary Arzamendi chimed in. Hiya, Gary. How you doing? Says, if you got it, drink it. Yes, sir. I will be happy to. Michael Bregler chimed in again this morning, and Mike Seeley Sr. got out of bed. Hiya, Mike, at 7:29. So we're getting closer to reality here. Rick again, Feral Grandma, Papa Carnivore chimed in this morning. CB Carmack, how you doing, CB? Good to see you. About to drive, so may not be here. Well, always happy to see that you're up and at 'em this morning. Smoothie 420 chimed back in. Feral Grandma chimed back in. Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee is here. Wanda Gerling rejoined us. Steve Rogers, Captain America. Hey, Steve, how are you this morning? Good to see you. Good to see you. Steve Studley on a lifelong quest for the butter and the salt. 822 Feral Grandma. Terry Sue chimed in. 823, we're sneaking up on it. Who's at the bell today? Who's the winner? Target Prime Rib. Thomas, how you doing? Rick from Miami chimed back in. Gary chimed back in. Hey, I question right before the bell. Question. Does the uric, E-R-U-I-Q-E, is that uric acid you're talking about? U-R-I-C? Might be. Acid in red meat cause gout. Thank you. Pick an answer that you like. You could probably find somebody to justify it either way. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that's very misunderstood. I had terrible gout. Carnivore cured it. If there's uric acid in red meat, it's not causing my gout. That's the best I can tell you, only from what's happened to me, because you're going to hear the fact that that's one of the vegetarian and vegan main propaganda talking points leads me to believe that it's bullshit. That's how I feel about propaganda. When a particular side makes main talking points out of something that they want you to believe so that you will stop doing what you do and start doing what they want you to do 99 out of 100 times. It's a lie, and it's bullshit, and backed by no real evidence, although they seem to be able to manufacture evidence. And so goes our world, my friend. 50-50 split on virtually everything. I don't think we're going to see any change anytime soon. Same thing with uric acid. Francine Bourgeois, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Mark Whistler, how you doing? Morning, you Mitch-loving meat munchers. Oh. I guess that's probably true. We're all here. We're all here. I chimed in right before the bell. And wished you all good morning. And we're coming up on the bell here. Who won it? Not Rick, not the Feral Grandma. Oh, we're still way before 8:26. Lori. Aaron, Booby Goats is here. How you doing? Good to see you. And need to have a drum roll going on here. Marla Kelly. Hiya, Marla. How you doing this morning? Kathy, Florida, chimed in 8:29. Edward Renner, how you doing? And Gary from Raleigh, North Carolina, no slow. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Good to see you. Everybody's sitting there taking their shot at hitting the bell. Robbie, little eager on that trigger this morning, my friend. 8:29. I know you got to time it just right. And ding, 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 ding. The winner, Rick Charger Mopar from Miami, says it's a Ducky day. Congratulations, Rick. You've won. What you've won, nobody can tell you. Is it worth anything? Not in the slightest little bit. But wear the victory with pride this morning, my friend. Quack to you. Don Shoger chimed in at 8:30. Cat's here at 8:30, and everybody else is B81 Mac, Life After Carbs, Chris. Not to be outdone, he came back again at 8:30. Jeff Johnson, the name you know. Oh yeah, back again for some great Mitch musings. Oh, I got some musings this morning. Oh, let's see. Dixie Scott, 8:30. Lori, 8:30. And Lori was the last of the 8:30s. And to start the show at 8:31, we have Ketra Naylor. Followed quickly, and I'll knock off a few of these hellos here, and then we'll get down to it. Not bad, 10 minutes. That'll do. That'll do. And 109 people have piled in so far. Good to see you. Not a bad start for a Thursday morning. Nice gray Thursday morning here. But it's fine. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be alive. I tend to find it a lot easier to be happy and content in the morning before the observations and assaults from every direction of the day tend to chip away at that brilliant mood that you have when you get out of bed and it's a new day and fresh start again. Good night's sleep. Well, I slept pretty good last night. All excited about getting my plumbing fixed finally. We'll see how that goes, whether that creates more aggravation than goodness. But I'll give you the play-by-play on that. It's going to be exciting, my friends. It's going to be exciting. I may even make a little video so you can appreciate the hassle that it is to fix anything in this little house of mine. Okay, Bilbo's here. How you doing, Bilbo? Good to see you. Aaron, I said hi to you, I think. Anybody new before I get down to it? Tuka. Question, quack, quack, quack. How are you, boss? Tuka, I got to tell you honestly, my friend. Seriously, if I was any better, it would be illegal. It would be just too good for others to even have to tolerate being around me. That's how good I am this morning. Rodney Dangerfield used to say, I'm okay now, but I was in rough shape yesterday. Some days I get up and feel like that. Well, I'm okay now, but man, yesterday got rough. Ribeye Susie's here. How you doing, Ribeye? Susie, how you doing, Susie? Lady June chimed back in. Polish Mike, how you doing? Always says, good morning, boss. Everybody used to call me boss when I was the boss. Now I think I'm the boss of nothing. I'm the leader of a ragtag group of what you call Mitch Fits now. Wow. But I'm proud. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. Booby says, Erin says she wants a baseball cap. Oh, wow. Okay, maybe I'll have to see if I can get baseball caps made. But none of that stuff. Everybody, a few people want it, and it's great. It's not that popular. Honest to God, the money from it is nothing. I end up spending more than I make because I always end up buying some of it for myself, and I never make even enough off the commissions on that merchandise to pay for what I've spent just getting one for myself. So it's a labor of love, and I do it. If anybody, it just makes you feel like you're a part of something, that's great. But you don't ever hear me telling people, buy this, buy that. When somebody buys a coffee cup or a T-shirt, I show a picture of it and thank them. And it's not the fact that they bought something. It's the fact that they think about this. Imagine if somebody came along wearing a picture, a T-shirt with a picture of you on it, with some complimentary little saying. Wouldn't that make you feel just special? Well, that's what it does for me. It makes me feel special. And this might be a great time to show you this, because it kind of chimes in with it. This is Gary. Here, let me Let me make it bigger so you can see. This is Gary Arzamendi. Come on, make it bigger. Why don't you blow up? Phooey. Computers do that. Anyway, this is Gary Arzamendi. He sent me this picture. I got it in my email. I think it was last night. And he's holding up, and he's in California. He's holding up his morning coffee picture. And I got to tell you guys, the thing that's important to me about that picture is how well he's doing. And just, that fact that he's proud enough to want to show off the fact that he's a member of this community. That means a lot. That really, really, really means a lot. So thank you, Gary. Thank you for that. I don't know if you're up yet. It's early for you. It's 5:45 in the morning in California, but you're usually up early. Anyway, I wanted to show everybody that and thank you for sending me that. And I will, this afternoon, put that in the gallery on the website with all of the pictures I've received from you guys. I started doing it, but I haven't finished it yet. I'm still working on that page of my website for the before and after pictures. So send me those. Those are great. Those are great. And we've got some great ones already. And I'm going to have them on the website. So many things to do. So little time. So little time. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that I showed you that picture. It's on. I would not have forgotten that. I have it on my show notes, but this seemed like a great time to do it. Jesse Farmer's here. How you doing? Aaron says, could you also put the Misfits design on a baseball cap? I don't know what wide show out some means, but I'll take a look and see. I think they have caps. Between you and me, this custom-made stuff like this is they usually overcharge for it, and that I understand it, but there's nothing you can do because they have to make them on demand. We don't sell nobody. I don't think I've sold 30, 40 T-shirts in the whole time I've done these things. They can't. You can't let the economy of scale work for you. You can't, like big companies do, print up 10,000 of them at once to cut the cost way down. And printing on demand means each order has to be run through their machinery, and it has to be printed, it has to be packaged, it has to be shipped. Same thing with the coffee cups. They don't stock these things. So if you ever wondered why the price is $20-something for a T-shirt, that's why. Or $20-something for a coffee cup. You have to. You can buy cheap coffee cups. You can go out and buy coffee cups at the Goodwill store if you want for 25 cents a piece. But it's not the cup. It's participating in something, and that's why you do it. So I almost feel guilty when I see the price they're going to charge for this. And I feel worse when I see how much of it they actually pay to me. It's crazy. And I don't want them to pay me anymore, because then that would make the price even higher, and I would rather you guys have them. So that's my view on merch, and you don't hear me plugging my merchandise store ever. What I do plug, my friends, however, is my Buy Me a Coffee link, which I've just put in the chat, and I do want to thank Mark Whistler this morning. I want to thank Mark Whistler for buying me a coffee. And what was his message this morning? He says, this is funny. Mark Whistler says, just in case I'm the reason they demonetized you. No, Mark, you're the last thing. He says, nice cup, LOL. And he says that because on that video I was drinking out of the cup that he made for me, that said Morning Coffee with Mitch on one side, and has the picture of Kenny in the black hoodie on the other. One of my favorite coffee cups. I love this cup, but I think I almost like that cup better because it's got Kenny on it. Maybe I should put Kenny on the other side of this cup, although nobody would get it. Nobody would understand. But once again, when you have this message on both sides of the cup, they make the cup more expensive. And I'm trying to keep it to the point where people have it, get them because they want them. They're proud to be a part of this community. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Let me stop there with the hellos. I think I got everybody. I think the last thing I mentioned was Aaron's question about the that skull and crossbones Mitch Fits logo wouldn't fit on a hat. I'd have to come up with some, maybe just the word Mitch Fits. I don't know if that'd be worth doing. Would anybody even know what that was? Okay, show notes, Q. If you have a question for me today, Q in the chat before the question. Put up my Buy Me a Coffee link. Always appreciated, my friends. We have a meetup again in less than 2 weeks. The 28th of January in Melbourne, Florida at 11:30 a.m. at the Estampa Gaucha Brazilian Steakhouse at the Melbourne Square Mall. I've gotten some RSVPs. I emailed back and forth like 20 times yesterday with a fella that, for some reason, and I'm flattered, wants to come to this, drive down from South Carolina. That's really something. I mean, I almost thought maybe I should stop him because that's just a lot of driving just to have lunch with us. But maybe he likes road trips. He tells me he likes road trips. He drives all the time. So that'd be great. That would be great. It'd be great to meet him. So, and the usual suspects will be there, and the cigar gang will probably head over to the cigar lounge afterwards and try to have a repeat of one of the best days of our lives that we had, between the eating meat and smoking cigars and the camaraderie among other community members. You can't top a day like that. So I'm looking forward to that. 1 week from this coming Tuesday. And I'll keep you informed. If you think you want to come, RSVP to my Gmail address, OldGuyCarnivore, that's all one word, all squished together, OldGuyCarnivore@gmail.com. And just say, I'll be there, and I'll have your email address. And in case there's anything comes up at the last minute, I'll be able to get a hold of you. Yesterday, I want to just cover this quickly because I want to be delicate about this, because yesterday I dealt with an email from a fella that started his email chain with me by saying, I don't know how, I can't figure out how to participate in the chat. And he was the guy who said, this carnivore bad for somebody that has a stent. I've been a carnivore for a year. If you were here yesterday, you might remember my answer to his question. So I said, well, if he can't figure out a way to get into the chat, I don't know what device he's... I know it's a challenge sometimes for me with all the different versions of the software that runs YouTube, whether it's on a Roku box, whether it's on a cell phone, whether it's on a computer, what browser it's in. It's always a little different to try to tell somebody how to do something, even though you're doing it right in front of you on what you're watching it on. They may not see what you see. I get that all the time. How do I join your private community? I said, just click the button that says join. I don't have a button that says join. And they're watching on a Roku TV box. There is no, in the version of the YouTube app that runs on that device, there is no way to chat or read the descriptions in the video. You are watching TV. There's no way to participate. You need to be on a device. The best device to be on, and the one that gives you the most flexibility, is a PC or an Apple computer. That's where you can do anything. The next best would be a mobile device, a tablet or a cell phone. But even a cell phone, they got all that. They got a little tiny bit of real estate, and they have to cram everything into it. So when you want to know how to do something, you got to search, you got to swipe, you got to press, you got to know how to do it. Well, I got an email back on that same chain from the same guy yesterday asking me for my help to teach him how so that he can participate in the chat here. And I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it without being on the phone with you or on a video call, step by step, seeing what you're seeing. I don't have, honest to God, guys, I would love to help every one of you. But when it comes to tech support for your software and your computers, even though I may know how to do that, I did that for over 20 years, sitting on the phone for hours, trying to talk a technically handicapped person through something on their computer. The frustration, the level of doing that, I can't do it. And honest to God, I certainly can't do it in a chain of emails. Now, just so you know, and I keep my cell phone notifications on, except when I'm sleeping. That's it. I have to be available almost 24/7 for things that I support for big, some of the companies that I support, their websites and things, or if something happens in one of my kids or their family or whatever. So I never turn my notifications off, not even during the live streams. That's why it goes ding, ding, ding. I work all day on something. I'm always busy. I'm always concentrating. I'm always working, always editing, always filming, always doing something. Every time that thing goes ding, it's a distraction. And knowing me, I never like to keep people waiting for a second, and I never do. So I stop what I'm doing. Yesterday, and I'm not mad at him because he didn't know. Yesterday, this fella interrupted me no fewer than 10 times while I was trying to do some very hairy programming on a website requiring tremendous concentration, and yet I still didn't shut off my notifications. I probably should have, but it's just who I am. So I finally wrote him back and said, I can't do this. I can't, by shooting emails back and forth, being interrupted every 2 minutes by a Gmail in a conversation that even over the phone probably wouldn't be able to help him find what he needs. He can't find the chat, period. I don't know what to tell him. Sometimes I look on a cell phone, I can't find how to get the chat either. You gotta go to where it says comments, and you gotta swipe over it just the right place to another little page to the right of it, and you'll see the chat. I mean, every device is different. So I just want to tell you guys, I always want to help you. For my own sanity, I have to develop a policy to not dive on emails right away. I know you don't expect me to. I push myself that hard. It's a fault of mine. I have to learn to ignore those ding, ding, dings if I'm busy. Nothing is that important. I have to get it through my head. This is not your problem. This is my problem. And I've been like that all my life. It's that kind of concern for people that rely on me that has contributed to the success that I've been. People love dealing with me. They tell me I'm the most reliable person they ever met on the face of the earth. I'm never late for anything. I always consider the other person's time and feelings in anything I do. So I just wanted to say, if you Gmail me and I don't get to it till the next day, it's because I can't get into those things. And yesterday I had 2 of them. I had a 20 email back and forth conversation going all day with a fellow in South Carolina about coming down here. And at the same time, I had another 10 or 15 back and forth Gmail conversation going at the same time, alternating, ding, 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 about how do I find and participate in the chat. And my answer to you, my friend, my answer to you, and I'm sorry I took up this much time talking about this, but it's just things that happen. My answer to you, my friend, is you need to find somebody that lives, some friend of yours, some relative, anybody that is in your neighborhood and can help you and walk you through how to get in to the chat. It can't be that difficult. Look at the chat. There's something you're missing, and I can't help you. I am not in the YouTube tech support business. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I don't have the time or the patience anymore to do that kind of trying to help somebody email by email, figure out where they need to touch on whatever device or mouse or whatever it is they're using. There's too many different things that can go wrong. So I'm sorry about that. It wasn't really a rant. It's more of an apology to those guys if I seemed like I was getting a little impatient. I was busy. I had work to do, and I was getting hit with 1-2 punches from 2 different people. And no question should have to take 15 or 20 back and forth emails before it finally stops. Finally stops. So, had to say that. And at the same time yesterday, while I was being interrupted and confused by all of that, I get a comment. I get a comment on YouTube because I do look at those. And this comment said, I'm a young person, and I thought that I would see if I could find an older person's opinions about carnivore. So I found your channel. And the first thing I see was you lighting up a cigar. That disgusted me. I'm gone. That was the comment. And I laughed. But that young person maybe should have stuck around. Maybe they would have heard some things that may have really helped them. Who knows? But that's how judgmental people are these days. It's crazy. It's crazy. But at any rate, they won't be bothering me again. Let me just put it to you that way. I showed you the Gary Cup picture. Talked about the tech support by email. I think I'm getting down to this. Cigar comment yesterday said that. Saw a news story this morning. And boy, was it an event. They were making such a huge deal out of it. You would think that America tomorrow was going to be healthy again and have the epitome of health. You would think by the excitement of both the hosts talking about this story and the guest, their expert guest, talking about what was going to happen, because our government our FDA just did something. They just did something yesterday that's going to change the world. Maybe I won't even be necessary. Maybe it won't even be necessary for me to come on here every day and try to help people navigate the poison out there. One could hope. And what was that? What was that one thing that's going to fix everything based on their excitement? Stay tuned, my friends, and I'll let you know right after I light my cigar. That was a teaser, like a teaser you get on the news. Oh, want to know why your house is going to blow up tomorrow? Story at 11. Thank you. And that one was for For you, my friend, that was for you. Even though you said you're out of here, you may be watching. That was for you. The person that thinks I'm a disgusting old man because I puff on a cigar. Without realizing it sometimes, that the greatest men in history, some of the men you admire the most in your life, smoked cigars. Sorry. I'm not going to do it today, but I have a whole long speech about, and the subject matter is, people go out of their way to screw themselves. They don't just take a straight and narrow path. They will take detours of hundreds of miles just to get screwed. They don't recognize genuine when it smacks them in the face. They go out of their way to fall for everything phony. I could be phony. I could hide the fact that I smoke cigars. But that's not who I am. I'm a love it or leave it kind of guy. I'm not going to mislead you about me, especially if something as important as taking some of the things I say seriously. You have to know me. And I do this. Yes, if you think that I'm a fool and I'm killing myself, come back when I'm 100. Well, wait, you'll be dead by then. And you'll find out you were wrong. I might die from something else, but I'm not going to die from cigar smoking, that's for sure. Or get cancer or anything else, because we don't inhale these things. And that's where the damage is done. You get more damage from breathing the air and the pollution on the highway from the car exhaust than I ever get from a cigar puffing smoke. These people need to understand reality a little bit, but I'm not going to be a phony. Most YouTubers are. And that's why it's a cesspool of deception out there and misinformation. And I vow, if nothing else, to be unique and outside the box. All right, I was going to tell you about the story, and the story was the FDA yesterday banned red dye number 3. They banned red dye number 3. My friends. Save the world. They banned red dye number 3. Wow. They have solved the biggest health problem that we have on the planet Earth. Red dye number 3. And you may be puzzled and say, how could that be? And I'm being as sarcastic as my sarcastic type of wit will let me be. They banned red dye number 3 in cosmetics 20 or 30 years ago because they suspected that it was a carcinogen that caused cancer in rats. But they never outlawed it in food. Food companies love these dyes. They love these dyes because they make things more attractive for children. And breakfast cereals and things, the more brightly colored they are, the more brightly colored the candy shells are, like Skittles and things, the more attractive they're going to be to people, and they will eat them and get addicted to them. There's, in Canada, they don't allow that. In Europe, they don't allow it. But in America, we've always allowed these things. How many people are dying from red dye number 3 poisoning? That's bullshit, I think. How bad could it be? Is it as bad as the food we're eating that's killing us? Is it as bad? What's worse? What's worse about our ultra-processed foods? A tiny little bit of red dye number 3? Or 150 grams of sugar and seed oils per serving? What's doing the damage? Why the hell are we focused and making such a big deal about red dye number 3? Yeah, get rid of it. You don't need it. But Jesus, stop being so excited. Spend your time addressing the real problems. That's why it's nice that RFK Jr.'s gone up there, and it's nice that they're going to make a push to maybe get some corrupt people out of government, maybe get some of these chemicals out of our food, but that is not the real problem. I never hear the word eat meat come out of any of their mouths. I never hear anything about plants are trying to kill you. The real problems aren't even on their radar. I never hear anything about carbohydrate addiction. The closest they come is, say, food addiction, and that's not even a thing. Nobody has really gotten real yet, which is why we need to stick together, guys, my friends. We need to be here, and we need to somehow get to the truth as best we can so that we can, if nothing else, do the best we can for ourselves, support each other, and our families, if they'll even listen past the barrage of propaganda they get everywhere they turn every day that lead them to believe that we're nuts. But we're healthy nuts anyway. Yeah. So anyway, that's my little rant this morning. I see this stuff and the absurdity of it. Am I the only guy that sees the absurdity and the uselessness of taking such tiny little measures and trying to blow them up into major achievements? Major achievements. Wow. Oh, my phone is going ding. What happened? What happened? Buy me a coffee. Tanya. Oh, you're so generous. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you. Tanya bought me a coffee. We love you as uncouth as you are. Mitch Fitz unite. Yes. Yes, Mitch Fitz unite, my new battle cry. You're going to hear that again. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I love it. Well, nobody would understand what it means. If I made a t-shirt that says Mitch Fitz unite, people would go, what the hell's that mean, you know? Oh, that's funny. All right. Anyway, I wanted to parlay to you that red dye number 3 story. Oh, and the good news is that they did pass, they did outlaw it, and the food companies have until the year 2027 to present to the FDA their plan to replace the red food dye with something else. That was the most absurd part of it. So in a couple of years, maybe a couple of years, they'll start reviewing the proposals from the food companies of what else they might want to use to replace the red food dye number 3, and chances are they'll come up with something even more poisonous and even worse. And the FDA will say, well, we had to get rid of that that red dye number 3, so we'll have to approve this new stuff. And as always, they will make the matter worse instead of fixing anything. Does anybody have an idea how to attack the real problems that are killing us? Because we continue, in spite of everybody claiming to fix everything, every drug company claiming to make the newest and greatest and bestest new drug that's going to solve every problem. We continue as a society every year to get sicker and fatter. Our longevity goes down. Our suffering goes up. And they claim victory year after year. It's not science anymore. It's pure politics. Pure politics. Pure politics. Wow. Wow. Man, I'm in a feisty mood this morning, aren't I? And coffees. Spiritual Nomad and Jane both bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. Jane says, good morning, Mitch. You are much appreciated. We love you being your authentic self. Yeah, I don't hide much from you guys, honestly. Like that person yesterday, I just said, okay, good luck to you. Have a nice life. And, I'd wish people the best. I just want them out of my life when they feel that way. That's all. Thank you so much, Jane. And Spiritual Nomad. Brooke. Okay, Brooke. Now I know a name. I'll try to remember that. Keep using it until I start calling you Brooke before I say you're Spiritual Nomad. FDA is lame. Hopefully RFK Jr. will jerk a knot in their arse. A-R-S-E. Yes. I hope so. So far, I haven't heard any. I think I think they know the problems. I think that they have to start small. I think that going after them with, the real deal. Everybody needs to eat meat. We need to stop selling broccoli. That I think would be a little hard. I think that would, you got to be careful when you're trying to change a paradigm that you don't do it too fast. So at this rate, if they come up with one new rule against one new chemical that takes 2 or 3 or 4 years to implement, how many great grandchildren will I have to have had to actually benefit when they finally have human beings eating what they're supposed to eat and being disgusted by all this other crap that we're all addicted to today? It's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time. Again, that's why we need to just take care of ourselves. Okay, I haven't answered many of your questions, and it's 1:15 already, but I will be here as long as it takes, guys. And I don't think I'll probably get through the chat and be able to say hi to everybody, but I will try to answer your questions if they're there. But first, relight my cigar. Disgusting habit. I'm out of here. My grandfather was a brilliant man, an incredible man, an honorable man. The man wore a suit and tie every day. He was the cleanest human being you ever met. He had manicured fingernails. He was a gentleman's gentleman. Old school. He was born in 1889, lived to be 102 years old, and smoked cigars. When I think of a cigar smoker, I think of my grandfather, and how dare anybody even think that that man was less than the finest human being that anyone could be. That's how I view. When I think of George Burns, what would he have been without the cigar? When I think of the great men in history, our founding fathers, all of those people, cigar smoking was what men did. And then the pre-woke crowd, the anti-smoking crowd. I got news for you. It wasn't cigarette smoking causing all of that lung cancer. What did you say? It wasn't the cigarette. If we had kept smoking cigarettes and not got ourselves addicted to ultra-processed foods, we would be as healthy as they were in the 50s and 60s when they were smoking all these cigarettes. The deaths from cigarette smoking are insignificant compared to the deaths from the standard American diet. We have had it wrong all those years, and we still have it wrong, and people are still being assholes, judging other people for it. They think they know something. Pardon my French. All right, enough pontificating. I left off with Aaron's question about the baseball cap, and I'll look into that. So I am at least, 35 minutes behind in the chat. Not too bad. I thought it'd be worse than that. Okay. I see Tina Schweikerath is here. How you doing, Tina? Good to see you. And Susan Ivy chimed in. And I know I'm way behind, but I'm going to start running through this. Steve Studley's here. How you doing, Steve? And thank you, Tanya, very kind of you. You are feeding an army every day, dear. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sometimes I do feel like a crusader or even an evangelist in a non-religious manner. And we all get that feeling, don't you? When you're out there, you just want to tell everybody, have you heard the good news? Like the missionaries say, hey, have you heard the good news? Now they're talking about religion. We want to tell people, we want to help people, we want to fix them. And those people don't want to hear it or have been so far spoiled that they wouldn't believe it anyway. DS111, Good to see you this morning. Scott Elliott's here. Hi, Mama Bear. And I'll do this for a little while. Peter, yes, it's showtime. It's been showtime for a while. 160 people. Holy cow. And over in Rumble. So as not to ignore you people, I have Mike Seeley Sr. and Jr., United Carnivores. Lori, Carnivore Story is over in Rumble. Sis, 1776. Good morning, meat lovers, Colden, Pennsylvania. So we do have some people over there in Rumble as well. Good to see you guys. Appreciate the support. Maybe Rumble will wake up one day and take notice that they're missing out on the best thing on their whole platform, in my opinion. That's the qualifier right there. Now, if I could find somebody else that would share that opinion, I'd have something here. Here's a comment from Jeff Johnson. I read my Facebook feed and found more and more carnivores commenting. People I never thought would have the conscious awareness to accept the information. We are making headway. That's encouraging. Thank you. Tell me stuff like that if you're seeing an increase. It can't get. How could it get any worse? Haven't they figured out every which way to make us sick and kill us? Jesus. Haven't they got us as addicted as a human animal can be to any single substance already? Their victories come in hiding the real truth from people. And hopefully, maybe some new anti-censorship going on, which I see some signs of, might be one of the most encouraging things to happen and allow other people to hear a message that has been censored. Like red meat ain't so bad after all. Maybe it's the best thing you could eat. Maybe it's not causing diabetes and heart disease. Something's got to counter all this propaganda that's been bought and paid for. Tom, Tampa, how you doing, man? Maybe a little late, but good to see you. Not you late, me late saying hi to you. Tuka's still in here. Danny in Boston checked in. Hiya, Danny. Let me go ahead and show everybody who you are and your pretty face. Good to see you. Good to see you. And we're going. I'm trying to run through this, trying to read a little bit, because you guys do say interesting things. And I don't just want to look for questions. I want to participate. I want to be a member of the group as well as just your fearless leader. Fearless leader. It reminds me of Boris and Natasha, if you remember them. Fearless leader. Okay. I think I remember Spiritual Nomad. Correct me if I'm wrong. Brooke. First shot at it. Just having heard it a few minutes ago. Brooke, I think. Let me know if I was right. Correct me if I'm wrong. And maybe I can add another first name to my library that seems to be growing in my mind. And that's a great sign for me. If I can remember these things, it tells me that I'm not going senile or having any kind of dementia, and that reinforces the fact that what I'm doing can't be wrong, can't be bad for me, even though everybody else says it is. Okay, we're moving along here, and here is a string of cues. Mitch, are you like me and get completely grossed out by even the smallest piece of eggshell in a bite of food? Well, I don't know if I don't get grossed out by it. I don't find it gross. It's just pretty calcium, basically. Calcium carbonate. What I don't like is when I accidentally get a small piece of eggshell in my omelet and I bite down into it. It's like chewing on sand. I don't like that. But no, it doesn't gross me out. That's not what grosses me out about eggs. What grosses me out about eggs is something that doesn't gross anybody else out, and that is the fact that anytime an egg looks even loose or runny, I run the other way. I just can't stand it. I have to have my eggs solid. They have to be a hard scrambled or an omelet. I will not eat anything with a yolk that breaks and runs all over the place. I just won't. I never could. The smell of it. I'm a fussy eater from the first get-go. Don't know why. Certain things I react to that most people would say, that smells delicious. I say, are you kidding? I want to go puke. A Caesar salad is one of the prime examples of that. Parmesan cheese. Oh, the sour smell of sour cheese is just make me want to retch. Always have. Vinegar, I find one of the most offensive smelling things on the planet Earth. I would rather drink battery acid than eat vinegar, which is why I never in my entire life ever put dressing on a salad. Ranch dressing. Oh, God, blue cheese. Oh, God. I can't stand it. Now, I don't know anybody. I never met anybody else like me. I don't know why. There's a reason for that, and somewhere back in my heritage, somewhere back in the ancestry who passed their DNA on to me, and their epigenetics more specifically to me, must have been scared to death by a Caesar salad or something, caused such a traumatic reaction that I just revulsed by it. I don't need to figure out why, but I know there has to be a why. Nothing happens without a why. That's the basis for how I live. I don't just say, shit happens. I say, no, shit happens because something caused the shit to happen. How far back in the history of life do I have to go to learn why this happens? And that's how it's that kind of thinking is the reason that over the whole course of my life, I have figured out the things I've figured out about the evolutionary cause of every one of our behavior patterns, including addictions and everything else. And it makes sense to me, and I think I'm right. So when I tell you why you can't fight your addictions, it's not just a rah-rah speech saying, you can do it, attaboy, attagirl. No, I'm trying to impart the understanding I have of exactly why we have no control, accept the fact that we have no control, and then let's examine some techniques to make it easier to control that. And that's why I came up with the stuff your face stuff. Can't be craving sugar when you're so full you can't eat another bite. And after you do that for a while, like I always say, your cravings will diminish amazingly because your brain has learned it does not need sugar every 2 hours or you're going to die tomorrow. That's the heart of it. Why don't I hear, am I that wrong, or am I the only one that's that observant in my sphere? I mean, I'm sure somebody else has said that somewhere in the world. Nothing is new. But in the circle of carnivore and keto people that I listen to, in the books that I've read, I've never heard it explained that way. But to me, it has to be. It has to be that way. Something caused this out-of-control addiction. And anybody that doesn't believe that their addiction is out of control, just stop eating sugar. It's that simple. It's that simple. That simple. And everybody be a carnivore who wants to be. Why is it only a fraction of a percent of people who actually start it ever succeed? Because they think they're more in control than they really are, and don't have an open mind to the reasons why they can't control those addictions, why they can't stay out of the donut shops, why they can't go to a party, because they don't understand that. That's what I try to bring to the table here. Sometimes I go down rabbit holes that may be confusing. Sometimes they're confusing to me because I may still be working out different details of it, trying to make it all make sense. But it's important. And it's important because I know it works. Richard, I know that it worked for me after 75 years of failure. Richard Williams, my phone will not connect to link or show links below. Don't know why. Don't know why. I think those links are good. I'll check them out later to make sure they're still good links, but maybe it's got to be some... I can't imagine, Richard, why your phone won't do it. Try it on a computer. Try it on your computer. I appreciate you using my links, but I can't troubleshoot that for you, my friend. There's too many variables of what it could be. If they work on my computer, that I know the links are good, maybe it's something in YouTube. Maybe it's the way you're... I don't know. I don't know. You get me started, I'll come up with 100 different things that could be causing that to happen. CB says you're going to have to start keeping your notifications on while sleeping, Mitch. Joke. No. But I do, actually, CB. I do, when I put my phone on, what do they call it? Quiet mode. Do not disturb mode. I have certain contacts, my children, that are favorites, and I set the do not disturb mode to say allow notifications from favorite clients. So if my kids tried to call me in the middle of the night, it would ring. If they sent me a text, or it would ring, but it would go ding ding, but not, everything else would be silenced. Ah, Tanya, misery loves company, doesn't it? The people I work with are super annoyed by me, she says. Ah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, yeah. Well, they start calling you an asshole, then you know you're on the right track. I mean, seriously. People call me an asshole, and I've told you this before. I light up, I smile, I say, thank you. I have been working 40 years perfecting the art of being an asshole. It's about time I got some recognition for it. You want to stop somebody dead in their tracks when they're trying to insult you. Do something like that to them and give them a big smile, pat them on the shoulder, turn around and walk away. You leave them speechless. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing to see. I almost look forward to it. I almost try to behave like an asshole so I can sucker somebody into that little routine. Oh, I'm just joking. Oh, man. I'm still looking here. Where am I in the chat? 9 o'clock. I'm only a half an hour behind. So what's new? That's normal for here. See, I try to get you to hang around because you know I'm not going to get to your chat till a half an hour after you say it. I wish I could. I can't do this and keep up real time with the chat. I'd never get a word in edgewise. I'd never be able to impart any of the sage and lovely rantings and advice that I have so much fun doing. Jackie W., a realtor in Indiana. How you doing, Jackie? Good to see you. Mitch, you should probably set up your Gmail to only notify you a call. I can't do that. There are people that need to contact me when something comes up. I'm like a physician on call with some of my customers. Anytime, day or night. Some of them actually are not silenced in the middle of the night. Not many, one company in particular, when their technology goes down, they're in trouble. Doesn't go down very often, but things happen, and the reason they keep me on and they don't hire somebody else to do that is they have never been able to find somebody that's as available and reliable to me. If I got a call from this customer right during a live stream like this, I got a text from him saying our website is down, I would say, my friends, I have to go. And I would go and take care of them in a hot New York second. If I got a phone, and they don't abuse the privilege, so when they do call, I know it's serious. Otherwise, they just sent me an email. I've never let them down yet. I will not. And that's very hard to find in somebody who puts somebody else's needs before theirs. I don't do that for everybody, that's for sure, but they appreciate me, I appreciate them, so things like that work both ways. Running down the chat here, running down the chat. Who else has got a question? A question, a question. My kingdom for a question. Ah. I get such a kick out of the conversations that you guys have with each other. And you compliment me a lot too, which ain't bad. Which ain't bad. Here's a question. Well, Gladys, you're starting off wrong. I heard on another channel. No, I'm joking. That when you think you are sick of eating meat and want to quit your carnivore diet, don't. It means you need to fast, and then when you get hungry, you will want meat. Let me get this straight. Somebody on another channel, and I don't know who it was, Gladys. I mean, let me treat you to a trip through Mitch's logic, through the maze of a flow chart of logic in my mind when I'm presented with something that on the face of it is so laughably wrong and absurd. On its face. So let's analyze this. Okay, you're a carnivore and you're really getting sick of eating meat. Well, at the point in logical thinking, and as a pretty talented computer programmer, I've done my share of charting, flow charting. And there are, in every flow chart, there are logical decision points. If yes, then this. If no, then that. And the thing goes off in wildly different directions at every one of those decision points. And that's what logical thinking actually means. What do I want to wear today? Well, if it's cold, wear this. If it's warm, wear that. Okay, once you've made that decision, then you're faced with more decisions. Each of those will be different depending on the answer to that first decision. Do I want to wear a red sweater or a blue sweater? Well, if I answered the fact that it's going to be warm today, why do I have to concern myself with what sweater to wear? That direction would, do I want to wear this t-shirt or that t-shirt? And then that goes on and on and on and on. And we live that way every day, making those decisions without realizing it. So let's analyze for a second and an exercise in logic. Okay, the first question that comes to mind. Am I a carb addict? If yes, this. If no, that. And at that point, the whole entirety of my logic about never letting yourself get hungry is a carb addiction cure. If you're not a carb addict, there may be something in this that makes sense. Yes, maybe you are getting sick of meat. Maybe you are eating meat and being a carnivore because you have heard and really like the fact that it heals things. But I'm sorry, I'm just getting tired of meat. What can I do? And their suggestion is to fast. What would be the worst frigging thing for a carb addict to do when they grow a little bored with meat? Fast. What the hell's going to happen to your cravings if you stop eating? If you allow yourself to get a little hungry, you are dead, sunk off carnivore. Fail. Fail. But the answer is not for everybody. The answer is conditional. The answer depends on your answer to that first logical decision point. Am I a carb addict or not? And once you answer that, yes, I'm a carb addict, this advice would be the single most dangerous thing and counterproductive thing you could do. That's why I don't listen to shit other people say. They don't think. They don't think these things through. People follow their advice. And anybody that followed this stupid, I don't care if this was Sean Baker himself said this. This is stupid, destructive advice for anybody who is a high-level carb addict. And unfortunately, that includes at least 80% of us. Took my brain an instant to recognize that. Before I even started answering, the minute I read that question, that answer was in my head. That logic had already done it. My brain works fast. Our brains work so fast. We don't have to logically think. Things come to us in an instant. We're computers. That came to me in an instant. It is the wrong information. Just be careful. Be careful about blindly following things without knowing the rationality and the logic behind it. That's a Gladys, I hope. I'm not mad about that. I'm kind of a little perturbed at somebody that would say that to what is most likely an audience full of carbohydrate addicts trying to beat their addictions. And fasting, my friends, is the worst thing. You need to do the opposite of fasting. You need to gorge on anything just to keep that hunger down. I don't care if you get bored with it. Just stuff your face. Don't let yourself get hungry. It's that search for variety, that quest for variety is the number one indicator that you are addicted to carbohydrates. If you weren't, you wouldn't feel the need. You wouldn't get bored. You would love the meat. You would never get tired of the meat. The fact that you are in a position of saying, I'm bored with meat, I need to eat something else, shows me that you are an addict and you're malnourished. And the reason you want variety is because you're not getting what you need in the food you were eating. And when your body finally learns, which takes a month, that you are finally getting the things that it needs, it calls off the dogs and stops the hunt and the quest for different foods that might contain what it needs. When you finally find the thing you've been looking for, you stop shopping. You stop going into all the different stores looking for it because you already found it. That's the way our body works. It's just about a month behind. Takes a while to learn something. Honestly. Logical thinking. Logical thinking. Questions. That was a good question, though. I mean, it was a great question. I thank you for that. I thank you for that. B81 Mac has a question. Mitch, are you as frustrated as I that powers that be want to add amounts of saturated fat and sodium warnings on food labels? No mention of the artificial. Yeah, of course. Of course it's frustrating because they're wrong. Because they're wrong. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? The propaganda has become the truth, unfortunately. And, that's nothing you can do. You tell a lie long enough, it becomes true. Oh, God, don't call me this. Mitch is the Jim Jones of carnivore. Come on. He wasn't a nice guy. I'm not serving you guys any Kool-Aid, my friends. Oh, yeah, let me see. Where are we doing? 9:14. Still a little less than a half an hour. I'm screaming to get caught up. There we go. Question. Gladys also wanted to know, and she hit the enter key too soon. But here it is. Also wanted to know this is a multi-part question, my friends. We're getting it in installments. Here it is. Just wanted to know what you thought of this idea. I just told you, Gladys, I think it's a stupid idea for a carb addict. And the real answer to that question also was the second part of my little rant, was that if you get tired of eating a particular food, it means there's something in your nutritional spectrum that your body isn't getting from the food you're eating and you need. So most people, when they start carnivore, they're finally beginning to get the nutrition they need, but it takes a while for their body to recognize it, which is why the first 30 days are a transition period. Stop weighing yourself. Stop worrying about it. Do everything you can to not eat carbs and keep your body from being hungry. Put up with a little, oh, I sure love to have some different kind of food. That's your body saying it's been living without certain nutrients for so long and been handicapped that you're sick. So the whole reason that thing is a stupid idea is because the fact that you want variety is your brain screaming at you it's not getting what it needs, and we need to look elsewhere for it. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody understands that. Why not? That's what's happening. That's the root cause of the desire for variety, which triggers addictions, promises to reward you with a pleasurable feeling if you just do what it wants, and out you go to get a gallon of ice cream or some other foods that you probably shouldn't be eating if you're trying to become a carnivore. That's the answer to that. I think whoever said that, I don't know. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I can understand why people might think that's a great idea, that if you're getting tired of steak, just fast. Because then by the time you get hungry enough, you'll dive into that steak. Duh. I guarantee you, man, if you let yourself get even the slightest bit hungry and you're a carb addict, you'll be diving into shit and it won't be a steak. You'll be diving into everything you're addicted to before you even think about a steak. And that'll be the end of your efforts. That is carnivore suicide right there, to adopt the tactic of fasting when you think you want variety. I mean, when you say it that way, it just sounds so absurd. That's the way it hit me when I first read it. As I was reading it, the answer was already in my head. It's that obvious to me. Not that I'm any smarter than anybody else, but I understand how it works. I understand the whys. I've spent years and years thinking about this stuff. That just didn't all of a sudden dawn on me. But it all fit. It fit in with this puzzle that I put together in my head, and that fit. And here's somebody with a real question. Kathy, 5 Qs. What kind of food has the light and fluffy kind of? No food. No food has LDL in it. Sorry, you don't eat LDL. LDL are lipoproteins. They're little boats that carry fat soluble stuff through your bloodstream. So there is no way to eat anything and have light and fluffy LDL. Your lipoproteins are made by your liver. The cholesterol that you eat, that's cholesterol. LDL is not cholesterol. I dare anybody to challenge me on that. You know how Steven Crowder always says, change my mind? LDL means low density lipoprotein. The only thing that it has to do with cholesterol is that cholesterol is a substance just like triglycerides, vitamin D, fat-soluble vitamins, and all the other fat-soluble substances that need to be transported through the blood hitch a ride inside of an LDL particle. Calling LDL cholesterol would be like calling LDL vitamin A. If a FedEx truck brings you a birthday cake, do you call, when you see a FedEx truck coming down the street, do you say, hey, here comes a birthday cake? No. A FedEx truck is a FedEx truck. It may carry a birthday cake or anything else as cargo, but it is not That is the misconception we have been building our entire healthcare message on since Ansel Keys, with no clue about what LDL, HDL, or any other stuff was. Blamed cholesterol, a sticky substance the body uses in many ways because it just happened to have been found at autopsy, at the scene of a cardiovascular event. Of course it was there. It's what the body uses to repair the damage. Doesn't it make sense? And you've all heard the fireman and the fire analogy. The cholesterol is the fireman coming to clean up and fix after the fire happened. Didn't cause the fire, but firemen are always present wherever there's a fire. And Ansel Keys blamed the firemen, turned them into arsonists. And when it comes to cholesterol, we've been blaming cholesterol for being the cause of heart disease ever since, when it's not. It's the ambulance, for God's sakes. It's so firmly entrenched in us. So no, if you eat a food that has a lot of cholesterol in it, it has cholesterol. It's a molecule made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. That's all. It is a fat of sorts. It makes up the skin cells. It shields the neurons in our brain. It does all kinds of things. We can't live without it. We make the lipoproteins in our liver on demand, the level of which our body needs. So if our LDL goes up, it's because something in our physiology thinks we need it. It is the most misunderstood, especially by the medical community. These people are doctors and don't understand biochemistry 101. It is criminal. It's crazy. I've had discussions with doctors about they don't know. How could that be? They don't know basic cellular biology, for God's sakes. They have no understanding. They never heard of things like the Randall cycle, citric acid cycle. You ask one of them, how's ATP made? They would say, what? They don't know. They buy into the drug company's propaganda telling people cholesterol's bad, statins are good, cholesterol's bad, okay? You need to take, no. Can you tell I get so frustrated by these things? And yes, of course, in your question, it is supposed to be much less harmful than the other kind of LDL, which is dense. Of course, that is the whole basis of everything we believe, Kathy. That is a true statement. Not only is it less harmful, it's not harmful at all. Not harmful at all in somebody with a healthy metabolism that is not destroying their things. There are many great videos, hours long out there, that explain in excruciating detail what lipoproteins are and how they work, what damages them, and why the damaged ones cause the problem. But the root cause of all of these problems is inflammation. And the root solution, the best shot we have, is to do everything we can to reduce inflammation. And we know when we're inflamed because we have markers. We have CRP-HS. We have high-definition C-reactive protein tests that can tell you how inflamed your system is. We have ways to tell. And we know that meat does not cause inflammation, but most plants do, and sugar does especially, and seed oils do even more than that. We know that, which is the basis for the advice in this diet. I could go on like this for days. But you don't eat LDL, so that's... And I can understand why you might think that with all the propaganda that's out there. Unless you've taken dive down a deep rabbit hole like I have, that would seem like a logical question. And I can't fault you for it, because they want you to believe that's that simple. Because you think that you're actually eating lipoproteins when you're eating cholesterol, and one of them is not the same as the other. But they don't want people to realize that. They want people, when they think LDL, to think cholesterol. We've been equating those two things for so long that it's just a normal and natural thing for us to do. LDL is not cholesterol. LDL is the FedEx truck. Cholesterol is the cargo, along with all the other cargo that it carries everywhere. It would take an hour or two to actually explain in a way that most people could understand the whole thing, the whole reason about and how it works. It's not simple. It's not simple. We start out with something called VLDL. It's full of, initially full of triglycerides. And that's the body sending out its energy and fat for the cells to burn. And as this big VLDL, sometimes almost, in fact, when they do a triglyceride test, believe it or not, that's what they're measuring. They're measuring the VLDL, very large lipoproteins. Low density, very low density lipoproteins. VLDL, very low density. Okay. That's how they measure triglycerides, because they know that the VLDL particles, the biggest ones, are carrying primarily triglycerides and really maybe little or no cholesterol. But the urgency is get the energy out, get the fat out to the cells, and this happens when you're a fat burner. So you get a lot of VLDL. What happens is VLDL runs around the body, delivers all of these triglycerides to the cells, and as the truck empties, unlike a FedEx truck, the VLDL particle gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It offloads its triglycerides, and it still has other things. It has fat-soluble vitamins. It has some cholesterol in there, but they dwarfed in quantity to the triglycerides it was carrying earlier, and it becomes an ILDL, an intermediate density lipoprotein, halfway between the size of a VLDL and an LDL, which is a low-density lipoprotein. And it keeps offloading more and more stuff until it becomes the size of a LDL particle. It's the same truck, for God's sakes. It just shrunk because it didn't have cargo in it. So VLDL, ILDL, and LDL, and even HDL, which is the high-density lipoproteins, are all the same particle. They're just at different stages of their delivery route during the day. And when they become LDL, now they probably contain a higher percentage of cholesterol, and they take on a different role in the body. Instead of those little trucks delivering fat to the cells in mass quantities, now they join the immune system patrol and become more like ambulances than delivery truck. And their job now is, because now they have a higher percentage of cholesterol, which is what the body uses to repair, these little LDL particles now become firemen and ambulance workers. And they're dispatched by the immune system to areas of inflammation to help smooth it out and patch it up, especially in our coronary arteries. And that's the progression. It's the same truck. They just put a different sign on it. And that sign that's on the truck is in the form of what they call an APO, APO. You've heard of ApoB, ApoB 100. That is a license plate, for all intents and purposes, on the truck that actually tells everything in the body, the cells, the receptors. Well, we're an ambulance now. We were a delivery truck this morning, but now we're an ambulance, and we're available for dispatch. Where's the inflammation? I'm on my way. And they head off to the inflammation, and they deliver some of their cholesterol to be used to repair things and patch things and fix things in a rough, inflamed artery wall to make sure the blood keeps flowing smoothly. And if you keep getting too much inflammation, of course, these patch material just keeps building up, and that's the cause of something bad. But it's not the LDL particles that are causing what's bad. It's the fact that we're eating a ton of sugar and seed oils, and the oxidative qualities of the seed oils and the sugar, the glucose molecules, are hitching a ride on that little LDL truck. They're glomming on to it, hanging on for dear life. They're glomming onto your red blood cells, which is how they measure what they call A1C. How much sugar is hitching a ride? How much sugar's jumped on and hanging on the back, on the outside of this little truck delivering stuff through the bloodstream? And what's worse are these things that have glommed onto us, destroying the truck. Are they causing the truck to have flat tires? And worse things of all, have one of those things glommed on top of the license plate. So this truck can no longer be identified by the body as anything it recognizes. And that's what happens to these poor little LDL ambulance little trucks that are trying to deliver stuff to fix things. These sugar molecules, which are so high in your blood, these oxidizable chemicals that come from the seed oils and things that are called free radicals and are the reason why we focus so highly on vitamin C and antioxidants, is because you've got tons of this shit in your body because of your bad diet. They now are destroying your little ambulances. And at the end of the day, at the end of the journey of these little ambulances that are LDL particles, out there trying to do their best, deliver the raw building materials to the site of where the bomb went off. At the end of the day, they end up, if nothing goes wrong, unloading completely, and they go back to the liver. And they get into the liver through a receptor, which can recognize their license plate. Think about that. Like a loading dock. So the empty little LDL done a hell of a job. Started out life as a big fat truck delivering fuel to run the body. Shrunk down, took its cargo of cholesterol, which it hadn't used yet, became smaller, didn't have any more fat to deliver for fuel, repainted itself into an ambulance and rescue vehicle, and told the immune system, I'm an LDL now, I'm ready to go to work. Fighting evil, repairing damage caused by excess inflammation. Here I go. And you, with your addiction, have filled your body full of sugar, seed oils, oxidative crap, and that sugar is in your bloodstream, your blood sugar's high, and it starts glomming on the outside of these little ambulances trying to do their job and covers up their license plates. At the end of the day, they go back to the dock, and the liver says, who the hell are you? Well, I'm an LDL. Prove it. We don't see any license plate. You can't come in here. We don't know what you are. You are exiled to the bloodstream. These LDL particles are now glycated, oxidized, small, damaged LDL. They are tiny. They can get stuck up in even inflammation, rough sandpaper-like surfaces in arteries, and that, my friends, is the cause of heart disease. It's not cholesterol. I understand that, and I believe it. You may not believe it or understand it. You may have to hear it or see it. You may have to see diagrams, and you may have to hear some learned professor. You may have to hear Ben Bickman say that, or somebody like Ben Bickman, because he has said that. You may have to hear David Diamond say that. You may have to hear Malcolm Kendrick say that. You may have to hear any of these highly respected researchers and doctors who understand the biochemistry of what an LDL really is and how it does its job before you believe me. But what I've tried to do is just give you an analogy in terms of FedEx trucks and ambulances that may make it a little more clear rather than talking about molecules and chemical diagrams. I hope that helped. Not a lot of people, 133 people heard that. I should really try to make a video, lipoproteins for laymen, but it's hard to explain things like that. Those explanations generally come out spontaneously, not scripted, not for me anyway. But I do understand it. And that question really brought it out about what food should I eat to eat fluffy LDLs. It just shows how nobody understands how this works. Okay, I got it right. Brooke Summers, spiritual nomad. Yes, Brooke. Okay, I may still forget it tomorrow, but keep reminding me for a day or two, unless I say Brooke when I see your name first, and then you'll know that it is in my library of my valued tribe members here. All right, I need to get going. It's 5 after. I just got a text. Let me take a quick look at my text and see who that text was from. Probably my son, because I'm going to have lunch with him. He's want to mix it up and try low and slow. All right. I'll see. Sure, you want to go to a different place. Sure, okay. Yes. In an hour and a half, I will be meeting my son for lunch at a barbecue joint. Unfortunately, there's always some shit that I really would rather not eat, but we try to eat, like brisket, maybe has a little rub on it, but it doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm not that much of a hard ass when it comes to this. As long as it doesn't trigger cravings and send me to Dunkin' Donut, I'm fine. I'm fine with a little bit of anything, really, although I don't eat it, because why? Why tempt addiction, I always say. Okay, I need to get through this. Lori, wow. Am I still a half an hour behind? Yeah, I need to really just abandon the chat. If I missed your questions, I'm going to go over to the real-time chat. I'm going to do a scan. I'm going to go backwards and look real quick to see if I missed any questions. I'm going to go back in that till about 9:30. And the QQQ should pop out, but I really have to get going here. Could it be I talk too much? I don't see a lot of questions. I'm back to 9:38, so it doesn't look like I'm going to miss any if I stop going through the chat. No, I think there was a period of a half an hour where there was a complete and total deficit of questions. So I don't see any recent questions. I want to bring this to a close then. Make sure I failed to thank anybody for a coffee. No, thank you very much, guys. I always appreciate that. Tonight, I'll see you all at the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I said something that was worth listening to today. And entertained a little bit, too. Still have a little hot coffee left, so I'll finish my coffee, maybe relight my cigar. I will give you a little happy music. Take a minute and 45 seconds, that's how long this song is, to say goodbye to your friends. And we will see. Here's a question just came in. Lori says, no, DS111 says, is there going to be a quiz? You bet your booties. That's what I ought to do. It's a very complicated subject, this lipoprotein thing, and it's tough to make it simple and understandable. And let me... See, I hardly smoked any of it. So we got, let's see, Ellen chimed in. Better late than never. I didn't see you before in there. How you doing, Ellen? And Viking 442, Pamela Suarez, Papa Carnivore, Jake W. Realtor, Claudia Burkick, the Furrow Grandma, Booby, Goats, Retired, Rick, Terry, Sue, Carl, Carnivore Forever, Good Stuff, Mitch, and B, Charger Mopar, B81 Mac, and that ends the saying goodbye period. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for coming. I had a great time as usual. Went overtime as usual, but that's okay. That's okay. I enjoyed it. Hope it was entertaining. I hope I managed to answer most of your questions, at least somewhat satisfactorily. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 8:30, right here. Supposed to be a little colder than today. I may be driven back into the cafe and have to do it inside. But if I can do it out here, I will. I enjoy it out here. And with that, my friends, other than saying I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock, private community members, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.